Hi everyone, welcome to the Complexion Diaries. We are gonna do my clean girl, everyday, easy makeup, so let's get right into it. So I'm gonna start with a little hyaluronic acid because the biggest thing for clean girl makeup is for it to be dewy. And you want your skin moisturized. Like that is going to be the biggest thing. So starting with the hyaluronic acid and then going in with a really good moisturizer. Use your favorite. It doesn't have to be like super fancy. I have always used Kiehl's because Makeup by Mario got me onto it and he was like, this is honestly probably one of the best primers. And just to like make it a little more like luminous, I'm gonna go in with the YSL primer. I don't know if Luxury Beauty is really worth it, but we're gonna find out. But I do like this primer because it's a glowy primer, which is kind of the look we're going for. First thing I'm gonna do is color correct a little bit my dark spots, and I use this quite a few times. It is the RCMA concealer, and I've used it for several years, and it's just like a tiny bit of orange to give you that like little coverage because you really don't need a lot, and especially when you're trying to do just like an everyday makeup, you just want like a little bit. You're not gonna go in like super heavy and thick, so you just kind of want to cover it, touch it a little bit so it gets covered. This is something I have not tried before, so I'm gonna like go out and see if this works, but this is the Bye Bye Dark Spots, and this is a corrector and serum. It's from IT Cosmetics, and it also has hyaluronic acid in it. So I was like, you know what? Like, let me see if this is gonna work. I'm just gonna put like lightly where I color corrected a little bit. It does come with a little brush, so let's try out this little brush and see how I feel about it. Oh, it does feel nice. The brush definitely feels nice. But this is a waste of time because I'm not gonna be using this. So my favorite foundation for a dewy, luminous look is the Armani Luminous Silk. Now normally, if it were a year ago, it would have been the Hourglass one, but because I have more hyperpigmentation and I've had my acne going on this entire year, I need a more full coverage foundation to do clean girl makeup. And this one gives me the coverage that I need for these dark spots situations happening. So I like to apply it with a brush, and then you're gonna like pat all of this in with a beauty blender, because a beauty blender is, or any kind of sponge, but you definitely want a sponge. Also make sure you get your eyes, like this is gonna be very much skin focused. Using a sponge is actually gonna take some of that product off, and so that's what gives you sort of really that like skin-like sort of glow coming through, because it's picking up a little product. Like it's kind of taking off the excess product and pushing in what you need into your skin. Get a little bit of your forehead. I used to not like mess with my forehead too much, which is still true, but like you still need like a tiny bit there, so everything just kind of looks even. This is pretty good, you guys. I'm pretty happy with this. Like I feel like it's a nice one layer coverage, and I still feel like skin is peeking through. I like doing my eyebrows right after I do my foundation because this is gonna like shape your entire face. And that's gonna tell me like, okay, do I need a little more concealer? Do I not? And it honestly depends on the day. I feel like the eyebrow trend was to brush your brows up. Like I know like the soap brows, like brushing them up and like laminating them was like a thing, and that kind of became associated with like clean girl. But you guys, I have never done that trend. I'm not a fan of that trend. It just doesn't look great on me. So not every trend is gonna work for everyone. So just because people are doing it, it does not mean you have to do it. I have resisted against the brows that people are doing because it just doesn't work for me. I did get a brow gel recently though. A makeup artist I worked with gave me this brow gel, and she was like, why don't you try and like play with it a little? And I have been, and I do like kind of using it for the beginning part of my brow. Like I think that it works well, but like even in like using it and brushing it, like I'm not trying to keep it up the whole time. It also does help when you like feather your brow out. So you want to do the lightest layer of concealer. Like this is the one that I use to color correct as well. But like I'm just lightly tapping it on, and I'm gonna extend it a little further, put a little under my brows, and that's it. I'm not gonna put a ton on. You just, like I said, this is the skin game, so we're gonna keep it as such. And I'm gonna use a little dot of this Huda Beauty concealer, and I'm gonna do a tiny little dot under each eye because that is all you need for this. And then I'm gonna go in with this Makeup Forever concealer, and I like using this because it is, this is like a little more neutral shade, and the Huda Beauty one is like a little more yellowish tint. And so both of these together really like do give me like a really perfect match for my concealer. And then again, I'm gonna use a puff today because I kind of think it looks just like a little more seamless when you use the puff on these focused areas. And I want to keep my coverage, right? Especially around my eye area. We're going to contour a bit next, and I'm gonna contour my nose, and I'm gonna use a stick because I feel like this works the best for me. And I'm gonna take my contour into my crease because this is really the only shadow definition I'm going to use for it. I don't want to use too much shadow, and then I'm gonna buff this out. But actually, before I buff it out, I'm gonna use this is the YSL Balmy Tint for your lip and cheek. And I just got this, but I was like, oh, this is gonna be like perfect for clean girl look vibes. Like this is exactly it. I feel like this could come off as like a little too much, you know? I added just a little bit of the Armani liquid blush as well, and that's gonna kind of tie it all together. And I blended my contour into it. Like I didn't blend them separately, and that's gonna kind of make it look more seamless. Now I'm gonna finish blending my nose because this is a trick for sure. So for your nose contour, you wanna make sure you're blending that line directly into your brow. Do you see how I'm doing that? Like that's gonna give you that seamless nose contour. And really you don't need to do a ton more outside of that. Now that I have my contour set, I'm not gonna do powder under the eye because that looks like really cakey if you bake. I'm actually gonna use this like Pat McGrath. It's like this under eye blurring powder specifically. And honestly, this has been game changing. Like it is really just smooths everything out. And I'm just gonna tap it in, and it kind of blurs everything. You still want your like under eyes to look moist. You don't want them to look like all dry. So I feel like this does it perfectly. And I'm gonna put a little around my nose and just kind of bring it down so it all looks a little cohesive. And then from here, I'm gonna add my eyeliner. So with eyeliner, I love doing like a really skinny wing. You don't want a thick liner, but I'm gonna just like show you how I do it because it's easier that way. Like I'm really just doing like a little tiny bit on the outer side, and and I do it more straight, not like a wing where it's going upward. And I do it straight because when I add the mascara, it just looks like I didn't try so hard. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know what it is, but it just looks more effortless. That's what I'm looking for. And then you're gonna go in with your mascara. And I'm gonna show you a trick that I have always done with my mascara to get beautiful lashes, and that is to go on the top and then curl it up. And this actually helps like curl my lashes too. I've never used an eyelash curler. I do like my Ilia one, but I'm going to switch to this Lancome one because I feel like this is giving me a little more lately. And see, like with that, like the wing just kind of looks like a little bit of a softer extension of my lashes. I don't like putting a ton on your bottom lashes, just like a little tiny bit because then it like kind of closes off your eye. So just like a little teeny tiny bit there. And honestly, those are pretty much like the heavy lifts. Like now the hard part is done and the rest is like easy. I'm just gonna add like maybe a little more definition into my crease just to bring it out a little, like so there's a little bit more shading. I'm gonna do a little highlighter, of course, in the corner of my eye and a little bit on the bridge, top of my brow bone. And that is all I'm gonna do for my eyes. Let me just deepen a little bit of my brows. I feel like they're falling a little. I'm gonna put a little bit of this pink. I'm gonna take it on my beauty blender and just dab, dab, dab. And then I'm gonna take a little brush and do the same. Just a little bit, get a little more rosy, a little more flushed. Yeah, I'm liking that better. I think that just, blush is always like the first thing to go, so it's okay to overdo a little bit of your blush. Typically, I do like a darker brown to line my lips, but today I'm gonna do like a true nude-ish color. Because I feel like with every day, you like don't need as dramatic sort of a lip line. And then I'm gonna use this YSL. This is like lipstick but it looks like a gloss when you put it on. And it looks so pretty when you do put it on. It's like a nice pink nude. It looks a little more pink on camera. But then I'm gonna add this Lawless gloss. And this is actually a gloss I did not love when I first got. It's like a really light color. It's called Daisy Girl. And like when you put it on, I'm like, oh, it's too much. But when it settles into your lips, you gotta give it a chance. Let it settle, because then honestly, it smooths out like all of the lines. I just go back in and do the corners, but it really like smooths out all of the lines on your lips, and it just looks like super voluptuous, like clean, like just looks like you popped like a little bit of gloss on. Like it just looks easy, which is the whole point of this look. Then I'm gonna set all of this with my Urban Decay setting spray. And for a little hydration, I'm going to use, do I even have any of this left? Yeah, I'm gonna use the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Mist. This was like the OG, I feel like people discovered in terms of mists at least. And that just puts like a little more skin kind of over everything. Just tap all the little spots. You wanna be sure to like press this in with a blender, otherwise you can sometimes be left with like the setting spray spots on your face, and you don't want that. Okay, so yeah, this is my entire clean girl, everyday, easy makeup look. Subscribe if you liked this look, and let me know what other kind of looks you'd like to see, or hair, makeup, whatever that is. And ask me your questions in the chat, comment, do all the YouTube things that we gotta do. Subscriptions really do help in terms of building the community that I hope that we can build here. And yeah, let me know if you liked this, and if you wanna see more stuff, leave me in the comments below, and I'm happy to make some more. I will see you next time.